Yo YouTube! Hello there. It is Wednesday the 17th of January. I want to use this video to give you a brief update as to what's happened since my last video and explain the three unrelated reasons as to why my future output will be restricted for a few weeks. So first of all, one update since my last video. I remember just prior to Christmas doing a video which summarised a lot of how I felt at the time, and I think it was about the 22nd of December, and I was going to give myself a couple of weeks of a break over Christmas. I saw my family over Christmas, got everyone ticked off in terms of visits, which was good. Also, I managed to disclose to my eldest daughter that I have a YouTube channel. So in the unlikely event that she's watching this, it was really good to see her and her boyfriend, and I was really glad to spend some time with them on Christmas Day, and I wish them the very best of luck for their future lives together. Over the period, I basically did nothing. I have a very high capacity to do nothing. I could just sit down and play games or watch TV all day, every day, and get fat and not get bored with that. I think for many weeks and months at a time. I haven't yet got to a point where I've got bored with it. I think it would happen, but I think that at the moment I'm quite scared by the amount of capacity I have for doing absolutely nothing. I can't. It's a bit of a misnomer. I can't literally do nothing. My mind is too active. I have to be doing something with my mind, be that reading, watching TV, watching videos, listening to a podcast. But in terms of physically doing something, I could quite easily sit around in the same place for days on end, which is not good for me. I ate loads of rubbish, and I did weigh myself come the new year. I've got some figures. I'm very disappointed with where I am now with my weight. I may or may not restart my weight videos. Not quite there yet with those ones. But on the 5th of January, I did look at going back to work, which is a Friday. I looked at doing work, but about that week I got a cold towards the end of that week, and I wasn't feeling physically great. So I was going to go back officially on Monday, the following Monday, so that would have been the 8th. But because of my cold, because I was just too used to being lazy, I just ended up having the whole of last week off as well, and getting over my cold really. That's my excuse, getting over my cold. And then come Monday, that was my kind of official chance to get back to work. So that was Monday the 15th. And I looked at jobs, and I sort of started bidding on stuff. But the CX went crazy, went AWOL, and I couldn't reliably use my app. So although I was at home, I did think about using the desktop version. But I just thought by the time I could get a job out, but I don't want to be stuck somewhere not being able to bid on jobs coming home again. So I felt that it was probably worth not taking that risk on Monday. So Tuesday. Yeah, yesterday. Tuesday, yeah. It was my first official day back. And so I kind of was looking at jobs on the CX from about 7:30 in the morning. And I was bidding on the jobs that came up that were local to me. I put a 50-mile radius from where I lived. And I bid on about 10 jobs between 7:30 and 10:30. And I got one in the end, and there was about another 10 jobs that came up in that radius in total. So probably about 20 possible jobs for me yesterday, which wasn't very many at all, and lots of them going sort of London, I don't know, all over the place. So not all of them were, and quite a few of them were sort of 40 miles pickup, so they weren't really that feasible to pick them up, to be honest. So Huntingdon pickups from me in the morning are not really feasible. They came up on my feed, Ely, Huntingdon. So I was trying to stick to more north of Peterborough, sort of Lincoln, Boston, Sleaford, Grantham, Peterborough itself, Spalding, Wisbech, that kind of area is what I kind of try and specialise in. Mainly because there's less drivers there. There's a lot of drivers in Peterborough itself, and north of Peterborough it drops off very quickly. So I got a job from Lincoln going to Stourbridge. It was a immediate pickup. I was an hour away from it, so I did. When I got the call, I did say I was going to be about 11:30 before I got there. But they were fine with that because it was an emergency, and I like those sort of jobs. It was a part that I had to get delivered for a repair to a restaurant, and without the part, they couldn't do any cooking. It's clearly very critical to their business model. So I made my way to Lincoln, got there a bit late. Actually, one of the interesting things happened. Two things on the way. I got stuck. Not stuck. I stopped. I was stopped at a crossing. I'm going to call it a level crossing, but it's not a level crossing, because a level crossing is where you've got, in my mind, a railway track across the road. But imagine a level crossing, but no railway track, but instead it's aircraft coming to land. It's those situations. I had military aircraft coming to land. There's about 10 of them. I was stopped on the road waiting for them to come down. And I had a really interesting situation where the lights went off from red, and I was about 3 or 4 cars back. Excuse me. And so I then made my way forward, but then they went back onto red again. And the van in front of me stopped, and I just thought, I can't wait here any longer. We'll get to this pickup. So I overtook that van and carried on. And as I was driving down the road, looked to my right, there was a military aircraft coming to land, heading straight for the side of my van. Now it was literally probably about, I don't know, it was about 200 metres away, so it wasn't right on me, and it was going, not very, very fast. It was going at landing speed, but it's the first time I've had a military aircraft at my height heading towards the side of my van. It was a really memorable thing to happen. It had headlights on, like a car would, and it was heading straight toward. I was looking outside of my van. It was heading straight towards me. It was really interesting. So I was going at right angles and getting off out of his path, and so I got out of the way quite easily. There's no danger, but it was just really interesting having that experience. And then later on that day, there was Red Arrows practicing, which I saw, and they were doing lots of acrobatics in the air as I was on the way to a pickup. So a really interesting pickup route, so I got to Lincoln, picked up my parts. It was a very heavy box that I got help putting onto my van, and then it was a small van job, 117 miles loaded. I must be about 30 miles away from the pickup, so probably 150 odd miles for me to drive in total, roughly. And I paid £100 for it, which wasn't, in my mind, great, but it was getting me on the road, getting me back in the seats, back on the saddle, and back doing a job that I really like doing. And the job itself was really easy, really nice. Just made my way to Stourbridge, about 2.5–3/4 hours away, and dropped off at the other end, and they were really pleased to see me. The engineer that was there just took the box off by himself. He's quite a young, fit guy, and he managed to do that by himself, which I was really pleased by. I took my photo, did my part, and then rang the guys that gave me the job and said I'm finished, to just reassure them it was all done now. And then I was in Stourbridge about 3 o'clock-ish, maybe about quarter past 3, looking for work. And it wasn't that busy, I must say. I was trying to going back east, and I thought I'd get something. And I was supposed to be there for about half an hour bidding on stuff. Probably about 8 jobs I've been on. I was bidding lower than I usually would do, but not very low. I was bidding what I was thinking would be a fair price, so it wasn't very low. But obviously it wasn't working, and I was only 15 minutes away from my parents' house. So I decided, in the end, and I had a job to do for them. So I made my way to my parents' house, and ended up staying there last night. So it was nice to see them. And then this morning I was quite late getting up, and by the time I started looking for work, it was about 10 o'clock, and it was really not that busy again this morning. So I put a bid on a few jobs. I had to kind of travel sort of 3/4 an hour up to an hour away to get anywhere, and after a while I wasn't getting any bids, so I just thought I'd make my way away from my parents' house, which is in the middle of the country, just a bit more centrally, and got a job from Kings Wimford, which was about 25 minutes away from where I was, going to Spalding, which was really close to where I live. So I put a bid on at 75p a mile, a loaded mile, and I called the guy immediately. It must have been about 2 minutes, and he said to me that he was about to give the job to the other guy that had bid the same amount of money, but because I'd called, I got the job, which I was really grateful for. So 112 miles loaded, small van job. I bid £85, so in the end about just less than 76p a mile, loaded mile. And I'm really pleased I got that, because it takes me very close to home. And that's the job I'm doing at the moment. So I regard it as being a backload rate. It's not a backload job, it's an ASAP, pick up immediately, deliver immediately, no co-loading job. But 75p a mile I think is backload rates for me. But it is genuinely a backload job. It's getting me from my parents' house to my home, or close enough that I'm not going to worry about it. Having had a late start today, it'll be my only job of the day. So basically, yesterday and today, I've done work that will pay my business costs. I roughly have £80 a day after fuel that will cover my business costs. And yesterday I made £77 after fuel, and today it'll be a bit less than that. So I won't quite have made my business costs. So it's not been lucrative time, but I'm glad to be back on the road. It's been nice to do this. So I'm pretty much fully recovered from my cold now. I've got a bit of a sneeze every so often, but I feel that's pretty much over with now. But there are 3, as I said before, unrelated reasons why I'm not going to be doing many videos in the next few weeks. I'm going to run through those reasons now to a greater or lesser extent of detail. So the first reason is a predictable reason, and that is it's January and the work level is very much reduced. The supply and demand matrix is very much not in my favour, not in drivers' favours. It's definitely in the favour of shippers. I'm not. This isn't a complaint by any means. It's just I accept that this is the way it goes. I'm doubting if many shippers have reduced their prices for their customers, and there's no reason why they should. But they are getting really good bargain deals from their drivers. The people doing the work for them, they're getting that at a much lower rate than is, I think, reasonable to expect. So fair play to those shippers that are doing it. It's not their fault. The way I see it is, providing the shipper is charging the customer at a fair rate and it hasn't downsized their income from their customers, then if they're not getting bids from drivers that are the usual bids, then they'll go for what's cheaper because they've got profits to make. And it's up to the drivers, where they can, to put in bids that are fair bids. we all accept they'll be lower than usual. But you have to be mindful that there's a limit to. Okay, I'm mindful there's a limit to how low I'm going to go. I'm not going to go very low. I'm going to go. What's the word? My prices will be elastic to some extent. They have to be. You can't be a self-employed worker and stick to rigid pricing all the time. You have to go with the flow. You have to accept that there are ups and flows with business. But there is a limit to how low I'm going to go with offering my services, because I value myself. I value my the service that I provide, the security that I provide for a customer, the communication that I provide, the professionalism that I provide. There is a lower limit to I will do that for. So it's about knowing, for me at least, it's about knowing what I'm worth. So I've done the job today and yesterday because I wanted to get back on the road and sort of just check that I still like the job. I still love the job. It's a great job to do, and it's really good for me, and it's really good for a lot of people. The kind of style of work that we do for your mental health, for kind of fulfillment. But it's not always lucrative. That's where it can fall down. Anyway, the first reason why I'm going to do less videos, I'm going to do less work, because there's less opportunity to do work, because there's less work available. Simple as that. And I always think that's going to be the case. It's predictable. Everyone knows. Every year, January, February, it gets quiet. To be fair, a slight bit of commentary from me outside of that. I think this is going to be a worse January than usual. I'm no expert in this field, but I am 52 years old. I have lived a life, so I do kind of see the economy. I do see, the news. I do sense stuff. So although I'm not a logistics expert, I would say that in my mind, this is going to be a very tough year. I said it before Christmas. I think that people will end up leaving the industry, both shippers and drivers this year. There's been a trickle last year. I think it might get a bit quicker this year. Those businesses that are robust, that are well managed, well resourced, they'll be fine. Those businesses that have secure customers because they treat them well, because they provide a good service, I think they'll be fine. It's going to be the people that are on the margins of affordability, margins of their ability to run a business, ability to communicate that, to kind of do a good job properly. They're going to end up struggling and running out of business. And then there'll be other people coming into the industry, as there always is, who will give it a go, who will either fall into the camp where I regard people as being either professional or not professional. I wish they were professional, every luck in the world. If you're not professional, I think I would be doubtful that you'd survive very long in this industry. Anyway, it's a bit of a rant for me, and it's a bit of a commentary about. I think it's going to be tough this year. I think that I haven't got the stats, but I bet you that this January will be one of the worst Januaries we've had for a long time. The same for February, March, April, May. I bet you this year it'll be every month will be probably lower than most of the months. I have a feeling that towards the end of the year, sort of October, November, December, it may get back to being better than it was last year. I think this might be the year where it flips from being very, very bad. What I'm saying is, I think because I'm generally optimistic, I'm feeling that the first half of this year will be the worst it's been for a long time, and then it will start to get better at the second half of the year. I don't know. I've got no reason to. I've got no evidence for that. Don't take that as any kind of intelligent analysis of the situation. It's just how I feel about it, being an optimist and in the industry. So whether you are thinking about coming into this industry or thinking about leaving, it's down to your situation and your perspective and your needs. For some people, it's the right time to leave, and for some people, it's the right time to start. As long as you know what you're getting into, then I wouldn't say no one should start, but you have to be really mindful about what you need to do. Anyway, moving on. So, opportunity for the next few weeks is going to be much lower for me to get any work. The second unrelated reason is, which I mentioned before Christmas, I have got a serious chronic health condition that has taken a turn for the worse. It started about October. I managed to get through to the end of the year pretty much without too many bumps in the road. But now the S hits the fan, as it were, when it comes to having to deal with it. I've thought long and hard about whether I should tell you my specific condition, and I decided that I'm not ready to do that. If you start trying to guess it, I'm not going to confirm or deny any of your guesses. I'm not going to get into that game. It's not really important what the actual name of the condition is. I will tell you the partial effects, some of the effects it has on me, to give you some, which I think is relevant to my video. The thing that's got significantly worse over the last few months is that I generally get quite breathless most of the time. Just doing any kind of physical activity, I get breathless. And secondly, I'm fatigued pretty much all the time. So I have checked on the DVLA's list of medical conditions, and my particular issue isn't one that I have to tell them about. I did double check that, so it's not one of those on that list, but it is something that has it is something that's going to have and is having and will have in the future a negative effect on my ability to work, and I need to address that and resolve that. So my 14-hour days that I used to do quite a lot, I think are going to have to be a thing in the past, at least for the next few weeks. And because of where I live, it's going to be quite hard for me to earn what I was earning without having very long days. So I'm going to have to change the way that I approach this job. I don't have anything in principle against doing some tramping. I'll do that if I have to. If the right job comes up, I'll still do that in my van. But for a variety of reasons, I'm going to have to reduce how much time I commit to work. And so that has affected my motivation to work, which is the second unrelated reason why I'm finding it hard to do videos. I think that I will at some point detail exactly what my condition is, but I just don't feel I'm ready for that yet. I haven't even told all of my family about it at the moment, so I think that I need to perhaps finish that process off and get some treatment. Right, the third unrelated reason why I'm going to be posting less videos is another complexity in my life that I haven't really gone much into in the past. I'm not going to go into a lot of it now, but I think I have to go into it to some extent. And I have in the past mentioned that I've got a partner, and we had our 1-year anniversary in November. And I have in the past mentioned my age, and you might be wondering what's going on there. Why he's only got a partner for 1 year and is in his early 50s. Well, I have been going through for the last 3 years a separation process from my wife, and we've kind of done the emotional and the physical separation part. This was from 2020 when it first started, but we do have commitments. We have financial commitments. We have children together, not completely independent from us. So we sort of wanted to maintain connections in terms of our financial commitments and our parental commitments. But we are trying to separate those situations out. And the latest thing is our family home has been up for sale for a long time, and that is hopefully now coming to a conclusion. I'm hoping that by the end of this month we will have completed the sale of our family home, and that means two things in terms of my ability to make videos. The first is I'm going to have to spend some time decluttering, sorting out stuff, and moving everything out. So it's not really so much my stuff, because I've kind of done most of the stuff that I've got to do, but it's more about supporting my son to move out into his new home, and my daughter to move her stuff out because she's at university into her storage. We have done. We did a few weeks, before Christmas, a few months ago. I did do a big move of furniture into my wife's new home. So at the moment, from the old family home, say a year ago, I've moved into a home with my partner. My son is going to move into his own new home. My daughter's moved into a new rented place at university. And my wife has moved into a new home, and that leaves the family home pretty much empty. So it's a big house, needs to get sorted out, a lot of junk in it, a lot of stuff that needs to be stored or kept. So there's a big job there to sort of clear that, get it ready for the new people. And the second reason why that has an effect is once that's sold, my cash flow problems will be a lot more alleviated. So over the last few months, I've been having to try to fund the house that's the family home, or contribute towards the funding of that, and contribute towards the funding of the new house that I'm living in. To be fair, my partner has been really good, and I'm owing her the money at the moment, so I haven't been paying the money out that I owe her each month. But there is a commitment there that I've made to sort of contribute towards my living expenses there. I've got maintenance, which I'm very happy to pay, and I want to pay for my youngest child. And I've got the bills and stuff to pay for the old house. So once the house is sold, the bills and stuff will be a lot less. Commitments will be a lot less, and we'll have a bit of equity released, which will mean that I have some choices then about work-life balance. I mean, up until now, I've had to work every hour I could because I've had to fund a lot of bills, like a lot of outgoings, and it hasn't really been much of a choice. To be fair, I've enjoyed working so hard. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't have chosen it if I was on my own, but I'm not on my own, am I? I've got to think of somebody else. So now that we're nearly at the point where the house is going to be sold, I'm hoping to have some choices then about how hard I do work. And so the third reason, which is unrelated to the other two, is that I'm not going to need to work as hard moving forward because I'm going to have the equity from the house. I'm not going to be living off it. I just need to pay off some debts, get myself all square, and then I can work out what is a better work-life balance. Now I've got a job that I love doing, so that's the third reason why I won't be working very hard in the next few weeks. I'll be sorting out that house and sorting out what balance I need to have. So I don't know when my next video will be. There's a lot going on. I've given you today a bit more detail about that. I'm mindful that I wanted to try and give a whole year's worth of update on what it's like in real world cost to do this job. But I'm mindful that due to reasons that I can't really change, there's the three reasons I'm not going to do work as I have been doing in January, February. So if you're watching these videos for my sort of cost analysis side, I would just sort of reiterate, it's very tough at the moment. The pricing is low, the amounts of jobs available are low, and it's very hard to make a decent living off the CX only. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm just not in a situation where I can do that at the moment. You know, motivation, health, busyness, house as well included. So yes, I don't know when my next video will be. I'm going to put a pin in it and say 2 weeks maybe. If I'm on the road before then, I mean there is a couple of jobs I've bid on, long-term job, for Fridays. There's a job going to Scotland on Friday, which I might get. But if I do a job, I'll do a video. If I don't do a video for a while, it's because I haven't been working. Yeah. I haven't caught up to date with my comments. That's another thing I'm a bit disappointed about. I haven't commented on the the YouTube videos I've been watching, which I want to do because there's a lot of good stuff that is being produced. So I suppose I'd better call out. There's been some good videos from. My memory is so bad. Dave Anvil's done a few videos I want to comment on. James Fletcher's done a few videos I want to comment on. I think Neil Neptune's done some videos. I don't really comment on Neil's. Actually, no, take this opportunity to acknowledge Neil. Let's do that. So Neil Neptune. We keep saying Neil Neptune like it's his surname. Neil from Neptune, I imagine it's careers, is a really interesting character. I don't know if he watches my videos. I shouldn't think he's got time to. But his videos, I've seen all his videos now. He does a different style. And I watched a video recently where he was doing some storage in his van out of pallets, and I was just really impressed with how clever he is. I'm not I'm not someone who can do stuff. I'm not a doer. I'm a thinker. I'm a thinker and a lover. No, let's not say that. I'm a thinker. I'm not a doer. I just don't have the manual dexterity. But when he created that unit out of those pallets, it was amazing. And he's very hands-on. He's very clever, very technical, very what's the word I'm trying to think of? Supportive with his videos. He has a quite good style, I think, where he does the short videos with sort of very interesting techniques, which show his ability to think outside the box. Very creative-minded. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge he's a brilliant person on YouTube. And if you don't watch his videos, you definitely should. Wish him the best of luck with everything he does. I think he's got fingers in lots of pies. I'm very impressed with all the things he does. So I won't go out. I don't know enough to be sure, but I'm pretty sure he's a transport manager. I'm pretty sure he's a shipper as well now, as well as being on the road. There's a lot of stuff going on in his life, which is very quite interesting to see his journey. So I wasn't going to say that. I was just kind of blue. I was going to say something else. Yeah, the other thing I was going to say was I had a comment on my last video, or last couple of videos, from somebody who hasn't named themselves, but they're DW, something with a number, and their comment was quite. They gave me two detailed comments, which are both similarly kind of expressing a view, and I wanted to read them out and basically share them with you, because I think that most people don't read the comments, and there's a lot of good stuff in the comments, and I thought that I could probably highlight the points that they were saying. I don't know if it's he or she, but I'm going to say they. Points that they were saying by reading out their comments. But for two reasons, I'm not going to do that right now. For a start, I'm driving and I haven't prepared it. It's not easy to see, so I'm going to have to do it static if I'm going to do it. And secondly, James Fletcher had a very similar, if not identical, comment from them, and he read them out in his video. So if you want to see what they said, go to James's last video and listen to that, or watch that. And I was thinking I would still read it. I am still going to read it out because I do want to add to the comment my reflections, perspective on it, because it's slightly different from James, isn't it? It's slightly different from DW's. But I'll do that perhaps another time. I might do it as a separate video just at home. Maybe I'll do that now. Yeah, I will do another video. I'll do it specifically on DW's comment, but I'll do it from home, static, or I'll just I'll go and sit in the countryside and I'll do it from there. Because I wanted just to kind of acknowledge DW's comments, which I thought were really interesting and useful. But also, I have got my own slightly different view on it, which I would share and expand upon. So I will do another video at some point based upon that. But just my on the road videos, I don't know when the next one's going to be. So yeah. So on that note, I want to thank you for watching this video or listening to the video, and I wish you the very best for the rest of this year. Good luck with surviving, I suppose, is the thing I have in mind, and I hope it's right. I hope that the best of us in terms of professionalism do survive, and the ones that don't survive, the ones that are kind of cutting corners or don't provide a good service, and hopefully over time, the sort of behaviours that we see, which we don't like, syndicate drivers and not strapping safely, co-loading without permission, not communicating correctly what you're doing as a driver. I hope that over time those sort of behaviours get less and less common, and I hope over time shippers appreciate and pay for a better quality of service. I've got no reason to think that will happen, but that's what I'm trying to do. If that happens, then I'll be able to make a living in this until I retire. And that's what I want. I want the best of us to do well. Thank you for watching. See you next time.